In this example problem, we are going to be a company that sells unisex t-shirts, and we are interested in finding out about the color and size of some of our best-selling products. Companies do this all the time. They have a product mix. Like Walmart doesn't only stock one item on their shelves, they have tons and tons of different items, and even inside those items there's different variations. Like there's Pepsi and Diet Pepsi and Wild Cherry Pepsi. So you're always, as a retailer or even a manufacturer, you're going to be looking at your product mix to see what items are moving and what items are not. And that's what this company is doing over here. They're trying to figure out which combinations of size and color seem to be the ones that people want and ones that they don't. And we're going to be asked to find the two most popular combinations and the two least popular combinations. Doing this by hand for a normal business would be miserable because they sell so many units. Even this particular example that we have over here, if I scroll down to the bottom, we can see there's 1,000 t-shirts in our sample size right now. Doing this by hand would take forever. That is the joy of an Excel pivot table. You can organize information really, really fast and display it any way that you wish. So that's exactly what I want to do. I'm going to insert a pivot table, and it's from a table and range. It's asking me for the range that I want. I want all of my information, included the headers, so I'm going to go over to A1, drag across until I have D1 highlighted, and then use Control-Shift down to fill in all of my information. I should be from cell A1 to D1001. Scrolling back up, I want to put this in an existing workbook, and the cell that I'm going to put this in, not that one, that's for sure, we'll go right here. I like cell F9. And I hit OK, and I'm ready to insert my pivot table. So what information am I looking for? Well, I know I'm trying to find the combinations of color and size, so I'm going to want those two variables. And I want them to be measured in terms of quantity of those units sold. So let's put those in. Transaction over here just counts each transaction individually. So there's no real meaning in these numbers. For what we're looking for, it just happens to be like the chronological order of sales that we made, so I don't need to worry about that. So what do I got right now? Well, it's telling me that the grand total that I got is 2,451, which doesn't make any sense because we only sold 1,000 shirts. What's the problem we have going here? It's the value. Value is listed as sum of quantity, which we don't want to have any sum. Like being order 36 is no better than being order 19. There's no meaning in adding up the total of all of the different quantity numbers that we have. We just want the count. So back to our value field settings, I can change it from sum to count by clicking in the little box here and putting on count, hitting OK, and that looks a lot better. Now we've accounted for our 1,000 shirts. We know how many total we sold in each size, listed right here, and we know the breakdown of what each color was for that size. Problem is, this is still kind of little hard for me to parse. Like I like a smaller table to look at, and I like being able to actually see the intersection of different numbers. Where I'm looking for like total greens right now, I have to add all these up. It doesn't work for me this way. I think it's going to look much better if I take color over here and move it into the column area. And now things are making sense. I have the total of each color, I have the total of each size, and then I have the particulars about the intersection, exactly how many green large, red extra smalls, etc. there are in our set. So that's all looking good to me. And I'll ask for the two most popular and the two least popular. We can scan around, we can find their numbers, but something you can do really fast that makes it more visual and easy to pop out is convert this to what they call a heat map. And basically all it is it's a table like this that's color coded in a way that shows the more popular areas within the information set that you have. So what I want to do right now is I'm going to highlight all of these numbers right here, all the way from G11 down to K15, where I put my map, all of the individual combinations of color and size that we have. And then I can go up to conditional formatting, color scales, and all of these color scales follow the same trend. Like they will go where it goes from, in this case, white to red. This one will go from green to yellow, and it makes all of the higher numbers look a certain way as opposed to the lower numbers. The one that I typically use, just because I guess my eyes like it the best, is this one, the green-white color scale. And in this one, it shows you the highest numbers in the darkest green squares and the lightest numbers in the lightest green squares. So with that, we can answer our question. The two most popular combinations. I'm looking for that real dark green, and I see real dark green right here, and I see real dark green right here, which tells me when I insert a table over here to answer this question that those are my two most popular color combinations. If you need to insert a text box, like if your professor, which would be me, forgets to do so, you can always go to Insert, go to Text Box, and just draw a square to be able to type in. And here I can say the company's two most popular combinations for t-shirts are, and then I'm going with what I just determined from right here. Blue small and yellow small. What about the least popular? Well, I went dark to light in terms of emphasis here, which means our lightest returns are the ones that we know are going to be the smallest numbers, and that is a purple medium and a green small. So the company's two least popular combinations are purple medium and green small. And we answer the question. And companies will do this to keep looking at what their sales are, because it'll help them know they want to make purchases in advance, what they should purchase, because they can expect that to be their volume of sales for any particular item that they have in their inventory. Before I end this video, one thing that I definitely want to mention is that when you are working in a pivot table like this, whether you make it a heat map or not, you can go to your values, like we did to change this to count of quantity, value field settings, but where it says show values as, you can change this to a whole bunch of other things. Percent of grand total, percent of column total, percent of row total, etc. What happens if I put this as percent of row total? Well, I click on it, I hit OK, and now what it looks at, it tells me what percent of all larges, mediums, smalls, XLs, and XSs are all these different combinations. So we can see within each one of those sizes what tends to be our most popular color. And you could flip this around to a percent of column totals, and you'd figure out what, by each color, what sizes are the ones that sell the most. The thing that's nice about this as well is if you click on the little drop down right here, right next to column labels, you can remove something from the information. So let's just say, hypothetically, in this case, we decided we were going to stop selling red t-shirts. I can click on that, take it out of the info, and Excel recalculates, and now we have a projected percentage of each one of our units, what the sales would be if we got rid of red, and so on and so forth. So you can play around with a pivot table, get all sorts of information when you are budgeting to make purchases in the future.